Ambassador Sarah Chen's office aboard the Hegemony Central Station hummed with the soft whisper of air recyclers. Through the crystalline viewport, the purple-tinged rings of New Carthage cast elegant shadows across her desk. 6 months ago, this view had filled her with wonder. Now it only reminded her of carefully crafted illusions. The data crystal in her hand pulsed with a gentle blue glow, its quantum matrix containing enough evidence to shatter those illusions forever. She had spent weeks piecing it together. Requisition orders masked as trade agreements, population transfers listed as cultural exchanges, and resource extraction quotas hidden in development aid packages. The hegemony wasn't uplifting species. They were farming them. Display diplomatic immunity protocols. Article 7. She commanded. Her office's AI promptly projected the relevant text in crisp holographic letters. She had memorized it weeks ago, but needed to be certain. The hegemony's legal codes were labyrinthine by design. A soft chime from her neural interface interrupted her thoughts. Her assistant, a young diplomat named Marcus, had sent an urgent message. Unusual activity in the Imperial Guard quarters. Full ceremonial armor deployment. Something's wrong. Sarah's hands remained steady as she activated her quantum-encrypted terminal. The neural backup sequence required 3 minutes to complete, standard procedure for all human diplomats, though the hegemony believed it was merely a cultural tradition. They had never truly understood humanity's capacity for paranoid preparation. Through her office window, she spotted movement in the curved corridor beyond. The distinctive shimmer of ceremonial armor, far too many for a standard patrol. The hegemony loved its ceremonies, but there were no scheduled events today. She had checked. Twice. Interface, initiate protocol Omega. She subvocalized. The quantum computers embedded in her neural lace hummed to life, beginning the process of copying and encrypting her memories, her discoveries, everything she had learned about the hegemony's true nature. The door chimed. Ambassador Chen. A melodious voice announced. One of the hegemony's protocol droids. The High Council requests your immediate presence. Sarah smiled grimly. The council chamber was currently dark for routine maintenance. Another detail she had carefully noted. Please inform the council I'll arrive shortly. I'm completing time-sensitive communications with Earth. 2 minutes remaining on the neural backup. Through the door's transparent section, she could see more guards arriving. Their ceremonial armor might be beautiful, but she knew it contained enough firepower to reduce her office to atoms. Ambassador, the council insists on immediate compliance. The droid's voice carried an edge now, something she had never heard before in their supposedly emotionless protocols. 1 minute remaining. Sarah opened a secure channel to Earth's quantum relay network. The message had to be perfect, clear enough to convey the threat, diplomatic enough to give Earth's leadership options. She had trained her whole life for this role, to be humanity's voice among the stars. She had never imagined she would also be its warning. Very well, she answered the droid, buying precious seconds. Please inform the council. The door exploded inward. Imperial guards moved with practiced precision, their armor's crystalline edges catching purple light from the rings outside. Sarah stood calmly, hands visible, diplomat to the end. The neural backup completed with a subtle chime only she could hear. The transmission was already racing through quantum space, carrying her final message to Earth. To all commands, the hegemony's peace is a lie. They were never going to let us be equals. Attached files contain evidence of systematic exploitation of developing civilizations. Implementation of contingency protocols recommended. Authorization code. Chen Alpha 70. It has been my honor to serve. The last thing she saw was the hegemon himself stepping through the wreckage of her door, his crystalline crown refracting the starlight into thousands of razor-sharp points. His voice was as beautiful and cold as always. Ambassador Chen, you have been found guilty of espionage against the eternal hegemony. The sentence is immediate. Sarah Chen died standing, her neural lace transmitting until the very end. She had done her duty. Now it was humanity's turn to do theirs. Admiral James Chen received the quantum burst transmission during his daughter's final moments. He sat motionless in his office at Luna Command, watching the data stream across his neural interface. Sarah's memories, her discoveries, her final warning. All of it flooding into secure systems designed for exactly this possibility. His daughter had known the risks. They all had. For 23 minutes, Earth held its breath. In the United Nations Security Chamber, delegates sat in stunned silence as they watched the hegemony's public broadcast of the execution. The hegemon's voice echoed through the hall, speaking of justice and necessary measures. No one spoke. No one moved. Years of diplomatic training, centuries of international protocol, all demanded measured responses and careful deliberation. Then Admiral Chen stood up. "Motion to implement Resolution Dark Winter," he said, his voice steady. Around the chamber, hands raised. No debate. No abstentions. In the viewing gallery, journalists frantically reported the unprecedented unity of the vote. Across Earth's orbital lanes, civilian ships began docking procedures with unmarked stations that had, until now, masqueraded as debris monitoring platforms. Inside those stations, weapons systems that had never appeared on any official registry hummed to life. Decades of hidden preparation unveiled in minutes. The hegemony's observers noted that human military vessels were going dark, their transponders falling silent. Reports were filed suggesting this indicated submission. Exactly as planned. None of them noticed that the civilian quantum communication network was operating at 10 times its usual capacity, carrying encrypted military traffic through channels the hegemony had dismissed as entertainment broadcasts. In Beijing, Shanghai, New York, London, Moscow, and 100 other cities, manufacturing centers initiated pre-configured changes to their production lines. Civilian factories transformed into military production facilities with practiced precision. The plans had existed for years, rehearsed in secret, waiting for this moment. "They're watching our official channels," General Rivera noted in the Pentagon's Quantum Command Center. On the holographic display, hegemony observation posts glowed like red stars, expecting either panic or capitulation. "Let them watch," Admiral Chen replied, his fingers moving through the neural interface's control field. Authorization code, Chen Alpha 70. Across the solar system, hidden installations activated. Asteroid bases that had officially been designated as mining operations revealed their true purpose. Orbital platforms classified as weather stations oriented new arrays toward distant stars. The sole defense grid, humanity's best-kept secret, awakened. In Geneva, the Security Council chamber's quantum screens displayed a joint broadcast from Earth's major powers. The Chinese premier spoke first. "For too long, we prepared in silence." The U.S. president continued. "We knew this day might come." The EU chancellor concluded. "Now we show them why humanity survived its own wars." The hegemony's observers reported all of this as expected behavior. Inferior species often made grand statements before accepting reality. Their strategic AI calculated a 99.7% probability of human submission within the week. None of them understood what they were seeing. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, quantum computers that had been solving climate models switched to military targeting algorithms. Hidden shipyards in the asteroid belt began launching vessels that had never appeared in any registry. The Orbital Defense Network, disguised as a collection of independent satellite systems, revealed its true integrated nature. "Send the acknowledgement," Admiral Chen ordered, his voice carrying the weight of certainty. Throughout human space, quantum-encrypted channels carried a simple message: Protocol Omega confirmed, Phase 1 initiated. In her final message, Sarah Chen had given humanity the evidence it needed. But more importantly, she had given them something the hegemony couldn't understand, a reason to reveal everything they had hidden. As Earth's response began, Admiral Chen opened a small quantum storage unit in his desk. Inside lay a ceremonial sword, a gift from the hegemony upon Sarah's appointment as ambassador. He placed it carefully on his desk, its crystalline blade catching the light from Earth rising over the lunar horizon. "You were right, Sarah," he whispered. "They never intended to let us be equals." His neural interface pulsed with incoming tactical data as humanity's hidden strength emerged from the shadows. "So we'll show them what it means to be human instead." Captain Maya Santos stood on the bridge of the TNS Shadow Dancer, watching the holographic display of the hegemony's primary quantum communications hub. The massive structure floated serenely against the backdrop of a binary star system, its crystalline spires drinking in stellar energy. Beautiful, efficient, and completely unaware of the ghost fleet surrounding it. "Stealth systems holding it optimal," her XO reported. "The hegemony sensors are still reflecting off our quantum wake distortion fields. As far as they're concerned, we're just background radiation." Maya nodded, her neural interface synchronizing with the ship's tactical systems. Around the Shadow Dancer, 30 other vessels maintained their positions in perfect silence. Ships that technically didn't exist, crews that had trained for years in secret. The ghost fleet of humanity's hidden navy. "All ships, initiate final countdown," she subvocalized through the quantum-encrypted command network. "Remember your training. These aren't military targets. They're economic ones. Precision over power." The hegemony had built their empire on economic control. Their military might was impressive, but their true power lay in their ability to strangle entire civilizations through market manipulation and trade restrictions. Ambassador Chen's final transmission had confirmed what Earth's analysts had long suspected. The quantum communications network wasn't just for coordination. It was the heart of their financial empire. "Multiple targets acquired," Tactical reported. "Targeting solutions synchronized across the fleet." Maya watched the countdown in her neural feed. Similar scenes were playing out across hegemony space as other ghost fleets approached their assigned targets. The timing had to be perfect. Simultaneous strikes across dozens of systems, coordinated through quantum entanglement to bypass any warning systems. "What's taking so long?" a young ensign whispered, tension evident in his voice. Maya allowed herself a small smile. "We're not just hitting their infrastructure, ensign. We're timing this with something special from our quantum computing teams." In that moment, her neural feed registered success from Earth Command's Cyber Warfare Division. They had done it, cracked the hegemony's unbreakable encryption. Not through brute force, but through understanding gleaned from years of studying their quantum technology, while pretending to barely grasp its basics. "Execute," Maya commanded. The ghost fleet struck as one. Precise quantum beams lanced out, targeting specific nodes in the communications hub's crystalline structure. Not to destroy, but to sever specific quantum-entangled pathways. The massive structure remained largely intact, but its ability to process quantum financial transactions across the galaxy died in seconds. "First target neutralized," her XO reported, moving to secondary objectives. Across hegemony space, the scene repeated. Banking centers, trade coordination hubs, market regulation stations, all precisely targeted, all precisely neutralized. The ghost fleet struck like quantum surgeons, cutting away the hegemony's economic control without excessive destruction. Maya watched the cascading effects in her tactical display. Trading posts going dark, banking systems failing. The carefully maintained economic bonds that kept lesser species in line evaporating in minutes. "Captain," communications called out. "We're receiving data bursts from multiple systems. The hegemony's client species, they're realizing their debt records are gone. Their trade restrictions are unenforceable. Send the prepared transmission," Maya ordered. Throughout conquered space, quantum channels carried humanity's message. The hegemony's economic chains are broken. What you build now, you build for yourselves. In her neural feed, Maya watched reports flood in from across the galaxy. Hegemony peacekeepers finding their payment systems non-functional. Trade enforcement ships discovering their authority codes rejected. The largest empire in known space watching its economic foundation crumble. "Message from Earth Command," her XO reported. Phase 2 authorization granted. Maya nodded, feeling the weight of history. Send to all Ghost Fleet vessels. Begin electronic warfare package deployment. It's time to show them how humanity fights an information war. The Shadow Dancer and her sister ships vanished back into the quantum night, leaving behind a galaxy where the rules had suddenly, irreversibly changed. The hegemony had expected barbarians with guns. Instead, they faced something far more dangerous. Humans who understood that true power in the modern age lay in systems, not weapons. And this was only the beginning. First Contact Director Emma Patel stood before the holographic display in Earth's diplomatic center, studying the alien vessels approaching Luna. Their biological ships pulsed with bioluminescent patterns, the Vectari signature. Behind them, crystalline structures that seemed to defy physics. Unmistakably Sin architecture. They're requesting direct quantum communication, her assistant reported. Both species, simultaneously. Emma straightened her uniform. After the Ghost Fleet's strike, Earth had expected retaliation. Instead, they were getting visitors. Accept both channels. Let's see what brought two of the galaxy's oldest species to our doorstep. The quantum hologram materialized, showing both alien leaders. First Elder Zixa of the Vectari, their translucent form shifting with complex emotional patterns. Beside them, primary node Crystallix of the Kin, their crystalline body refracting light in ways that human eyes struggle to process. Humanity, Zixa began, their bioluminescence pulsing with what Emma's neural interface translated as anticipation. We have analyzed your strike against the hegemony, the precision, the restraint, the strategy. Their colors shifted to deep appreciation. You targeted systems, not lives. Your information warfare capabilities exceed our projections by 47.3%, Crystallix added, their crystalline form resonating with each word. Yet you chose economic targets over military installations. Fascinating. Emma kept her diplomatic composure, though her heart raced. These were species that had fought the hegemony before, and lost. Earth understands that destruction is easy. Building something better is the true challenge. Yes, Zixa's colors swirled with excitement. When the hegemony crushed our rebellion, they bombarded our worlds. When they defeated the Xin, they shattered their quantum networks. But you, their pattern shifted to admiration. You removed their power while preserving infrastructure. We have a proposal. Crystallix's facets realigned, creating a new configuration that Emma's neural interface tagged as determination. The Vectari possess advanced biotechnology. The Kin master quantum engineering. You have demonstrated strategic and tactical innovation beyond our models. Emma saw where this was going. You're suggesting an alliance. More, Zixa pulsed. The hegemony calls you primitive, but we have watched. You achieved in decades what took us centuries. Your neural interfaces rival Xin quantum cores. Your genetic engineering approaches Vectari mastery, not through theft or conquest, but through innovation. Your species, Crystallix added, exhibits unprecedented adaptation rates. Our models suggest combining our capabilities would create a 92.7% probability of successful revolution. Emma accessed the diplomatic protocols through her neural interface. Earth would welcome collaboration, but we need to be clear. We're not looking to replace the hegemony. We want to build something new. The alien's response surprised her. Zixa's body lit up with joy patterns. Crystallix's form resonated with harmonic agreement. Exactly. Zixa pulsed. The hegemony expects you to seek dominion. They cannot comprehend a species fighting for freedom itself. Your information network, Crystallix noted, already carries cultural data to oppressed worlds. Songs, stories, ideas. Our analysis suggests this may be more devastating to hegemony control than military strikes. Emma smiled. The hegemony had never understood why Earth shared entertainment and culture so freely. They hadn't realized that humanity's greatest weapon was hope. Let us be clear, Emma said, channeling the diplomatic skills that had made humanity appear harmless for so long. You're proposing full technological exchange, military coordination, cultural integration. Yes, both aliens responded simultaneously. The hegemony believes they face primitive rebels. Zixah pulsed. Show them what happens when the galaxy's greatest innovators unite. Our quantum architectures, Crystallix added, combined with your encryption. Our biotechnology merged with your neural interfaces. The mathematical probability of success increases to 97.3%. Emma felt the weight of the moment. Through her neural interface, she could sense Earth's leadership watching, waiting. With practiced grace, she gave the response they had hoped to give since first contact. Then let's show the galaxy what real cooperation looks like. As the quantum transmission ended, Emma smiled. The hegemony had called humanity primitive. They had never realized that Earth's greatest strength wasn't technology or weapons. It was their ability to inspire others to dream of something better. And now that dream had teeth. Colonel Diana Martinez stood in the command center of New Terra's underground arcology, watching holographic displays track the approaching hegemony fleet. Above ground, automated defense systems waited in silence. The colony's surface appeared abandoned, every building dark, every landing pad empty. Hegemony command ships entering weapon range, her tactical officer reported. Energy signatures suggest planet-killer-class weaponry. Diana allowed herself a small smile. Right on schedule. Status of the underground industrial sectors. Production continuing at 112% capacity. Her XO responded. Vectari biofabricators merged perfectly with our manufacturing systems. The deeper we go, the more efficient they become. On the tactical display, the first hegemony ships opened fire. Their energy weapons, capable of cracking a planet's crust, struck the seemingly defenseless colony. Surface structures vaporized instantly. The hegemony sensors would show devastating damage. They wouldn't show the truth. Launch counter-offensive pattern Delta, Diana ordered. Let's show them what Admiral Chen's daughter taught us about adapting. From hidden silos across the colony's surface, defensive platforms emerge. Each used a different technology, a different tactical approach. Some employed Xin quantum fields, others Vectari bioshields. Many used purely human innovations. None matched the hegemony's tactical predictions. Enemy fleet adjusting formation, tactical reported. Their combat AI is attempting to identify our defense patterns. Initiate protocol shifts, Diana commanded. Random intervals, just like we practiced. The defense platforms changed tactics mid-battle. Quantum shields became biological barriers, became traditional human kinetic screens. Every time the hegemony's AI predicted a pattern, it changed. In orbit, the battle unfolded like a complex dance. Hegemony ships, accustomed to overwhelming force, found themselves caught in an ever-shifting web of defensive systems. Their powerful weapons struck shields that adapted, defenses that learned, and strategies that evolved mid-combat. Mayan, communications called out. Quantum transmission from the enemy flagship. They're demanding our surrender. Diana activated the command center's primary display. The hegemony admiral's holographic form appeared, his crystalline armor gleaming with barely contained fury. Your defense is impressive, humans, he announced. But futile. Your surface is destroyed. Your civilization in ruins. Surrender now and... Diana cut him off with a gesture. Admiral, I suggest you check your long-range sensors. Specifically, look at our manufacturing output. A moment of silence. Then rage across the alien's features. Impossible. Your industrial capacity has increased since our attack began. Did you really think we'd keep our factories on the surface? Diana asked. Humanity learned to dig deep long before we reached the stars. Every bomb you drop just gives us more room to expand. The Admiral's expression shifted to something closer to fear. Your defensive patterns, they're not repeating. Our tactical eye cannot. cannot predict us. Diana finished. That's what happens when you face a species that spent its entire history adapting. We don't fight like warriors, Admiral. We fight like survivors. Through her neural interface, Diana received confirmation from the underground manufacturing centers. The new wave of defensive platforms was ready. Each incorporated lessons learned from the last hour of combat. Each represented another step in the evolution of warfare. Final warning. The Hegemony Admiral declared, "Surrender, or we will reduce your entire world to ash." Diana's response was to activate the colony's newest defense system, quantum-enhanced biological processors, married to human tactical innovations, the perfect fusion of three species technology. "Admiral," she said calmly, "we spent centuries fighting ourselves. Did you really think we wouldn't be prepared to fight you?" The battle resumed, but now the initiative had shifted. The Hegemony's mighty fleet, faced with defenses that adapted faster than their AI could analyze, began to retreat. Their planet-killer weapons, designed to break the spirit of lesser species, had instead revealed humanity's greatest strength. Not their technology, not their weapons, but their endless capacity to adapt, survive, and emerge stronger. "Send word to Earth Command," Diana ordered as the enemy fleet withdrew. "The defensive doctrine works. They never expected us to turn their own tactics into our greatest advantage." In the depths of New Terra, the forges continued to burn, the factories continued to produce, and humanity continued to evolve. Dr. Aisha Khan's fingers danced through the holographic interface of Earth's quantum broadcast center, weaving streams of data into the fabric of the Hegemony's own networks. Her team had spent months perfecting this infiltration, using the chaos of war to mask their true purpose. Signal penetration at 87%. Her systems analyst reported, "The Vectari biological encoders are keeping our transmissions hidden in normal background radiation." Aisha nodded, watching as the latest broadcast package prepared for distribution. The Hegemony expected military codes or strategic data. Instead, they were about to receive something far more dangerous. "Hope. Package ready," she announced. "Operation Storyteller is go." Across Hegemony space, billions of quantum receivers simultaneously activated. In homes, workplaces, and public spaces, the carefully crafted transmission began to play. Not propaganda, not military demands, but stories. A young Vectari watching their first sunrise after generations underground. A Xin crystal mind experiencing emotion for the first time through human neural interface technology. And most importantly, scenes from Earth's own history, moments of revolution, unity, and triumph against overwhelming odds. First wave impact metrics incoming, her cultural analysis expert called out. Engagement rates exceeding projections by 200%. Aisha smiled. The Hegemony had always dismissed human entertainment as primitive emotional indulgence. They had never understood that stories were humanity's oldest weapon against tyranny. "Ma'am, communications interrupted. We're receiving response signals. Thousands of them. From all over Hegemony space. The quantum screens filled with incoming transmissions. A Vectari resistance cell, sharing their own stories of defiance. Xin communities broadcasting crystalline poetry about freedom. Dozens of species, inspired by human examples, finding their own voices. They're not just watching," Aisha realized. "They're creating. They're adding their own stories to the network." Her neural interface flashed with an urgent alert. The Hegemony's information security forces had detected the transmission web. Their countermeasures were launching, trying to shut down the quantum network. "Initiate Phase 2, Aisha commanded. "Deploy the quantum encryption protocols." This was the moment they had prepared for. As the Hegemony's cyber forces attacked the network, they found something unprecedented. Each story, each transmission, was protected by a unique quantum key. Try to shut down one, and two more would spawn from its encrypted fragments. Hegemony forces are attempting to trace the transmission source, her security chief reported. Their AI is searching for our broadcast center. Aisha's hands flew through the holographic controls. Activate the distributed nodes. Show them what Earth's quantum engineers have been building. Across human space, hidden quantum transmitters activated. Each one a perfect copy of the broadcast center. Each one simultaneously real and false in quantum space. The hegemony's AI, trying to track them all, began to encounter paradoxes its rigid logic couldn't process. Their primary information security grid is crashing, someone announced. The quantum uncertainty is overwhelming their prediction matrices. But Aisha was focused on a different display. The cultural impact metrics. Across hegemony space, people were sharing the stories, adding to them, creating art, music, and literature inspired by the idea of freedom. The quantum network wasn't just carrying data anymore, it was carrying dreams. New transmission from the Tin Resistance, her cultural analyst reported excitedly. They've created a crystalline symphony based on human revolution stories. It's beautiful. Aisha accessed the data through her neural interface. The crystalline harmonies merged with human melodies, creating something entirely new. Art born from the fusion of species and cultures, spreading faster than the hegemony could censor it. Send the third phase activation code, she ordered. Let's give them the tools to keep creating. Throughout conquered space, quantum-encrypted communication systems appeared in resistance cells' hands. The means to coordinate, to share, to inspire, all hidden within the stories themselves. The hegemony thought they were fighting a war, Aisha said softly, watching the network grow. They never understood that humanity's greatest weapon was never our ships or our soldiers. It was our ability to make others believe in something better. The quantum network pulsed with life, carrying hope at the speed of light to every corner of the galaxy. The revolution had found its voice. General Lai Wei stood before the quantum command interface, watching time synchronize across 1,000 worlds. Each glowing point on the galactic map represented a resistance cell, their signals hidden within the background noise of the universe itself. Years of preparation had led to this moment. Final coordination check complete, his quantum systems officer reported. All cells reporting ready status. The Vectari bio-networks are fully integrated with our quantum grid. Lai Wei nodded, feeling the weight of history. Begin final countdown. Transmit the activation phrase. Through the quantum network, a simple message spread. Remember Sarah Chen. On the occupied world of New Arcturus, Vectari resistance fighters emerged from their biological hiding chambers, their bodies enhanced with human neural interfaces. The hegemony sensors, calibrated for traditional life signs, never detected them approaching the planetary defense grid. In the crystalline cities of the thin core worlds, quantum processors that had been dormant for centuries suddenly awakened, their coding transformed by human programming techniques. Security systems that had stood for millennia fell in microseconds. First wave of uprising successful, Lai Wei's tactical officer announced. Hegemony forces responding exactly as predicted. Their combat doctrine remains unchanged. Lai Wei allowed himself a small smile. The hegemony's greatest weakness had always been their rigidity. They expected rebellion to follow historical patterns, isolated, uncoordinated, easily crushed. They had never faced an uprising engineered with human logistics. Activate the supply corridors, he ordered. Throughout conquered space, quantum tunnels stabilized by Xin technology opened. Through them flowed a constant stream of supplies, weapons, medical equipment, food, and most importantly, more quantum communication nodes. Each resistance cell found itself fully equipped and connected to a galaxy-wide support network. Hegemony forces attempting to isolate affected systems. Communications reported. Their quantum suppression fields are deploying. Execute protocol shattered mirror, Lai Wei commanded. The resistance cells shifted tactics instantly. Where the hegemony blocked quantum communications, Vectari biosignals carried the data. Where they jammed biosignals, crystalline resonance took over. Every countermeasure the hegemony deployed simply prompted the network to adapt to a new form. On his tactical display, Lai Wei watched the revolution unfold, not as chaos, but as a precisely choreographed dance. Each resistance cell knew its role. Each uprising supported three others. The entire galaxy moved in concert, guided by human strategic planning. Incoming transmission. His communications officer announced suddenly. From the hegemon's palace itself. The quantum screens filled with an unexpected sight. The hegemon's own honor guard, their crystalline armor reflecting the light of distant stars, had turned their weapons inward. Behind them stood a junior palace servant, clutching Ambassador Chen's original data crystal. "We found it," the guard captain announced, his voice trembling with fury. "Hidden in the hegemon's private vault. Everything she discovered, everything she died to reveal. The corruption, the exploitation, all of it." Lai Wei straightened. "And now you understand why we fight." "No," the captain replied softly. "Now we understand why we must join you." Throughout the hegemony's capital, palace defenses turned against their masters. The revolution had reached the heart of the empire itself, not through brute force, but through the power of truth. "Send word to all cells," Lai Wei ordered. "Initiate final phase. Remember, we're not here to destroy. We're here to rebuild." The quantum network hummed with coordinated action. As hegemony forces found themselves surrounded, resistance leaders stepped forward with offers of amnesty. The message was clear. This revolution would be different. This revolution would build rather than break. In his command center, Lai Wei received the final confirmation. The hegemon's inner sanctum had been breached, not by warships or armies, but by his own guards, armed with nothing more than the truth. "Transmission from Earth Command," his officer reported. "They're asking for a status update." Lai Wei looked at the galactic map, where thousands of points of light pulsed in perfect harmony. Humanity had given the galaxy something the hegemony never could: the ability to rise together. "Tell them," he said quietly, "that dawn has finally come." The new council chamber on New Carthage bore little resemblance to its predecessor. Gone were the towering crystalline thrones that had placed the hegemony's leaders above their subjects. Instead, a circular chamber of blended architecture greeted the assembled representatives. Vectary bioorganic structures merged seamlessly with Sin crystal matrices and human quantum interfaces. Ambassador Thomas Chen, son of Sarah Chen, stood at the center of the chamber. Above him, a hologram of his mother rotated slowly, her final message playing on an eternal loop. "Every species deserves to forge their own destiny." "The final votes are in," announced First Speaker Ktal, their vectary bioluminescence pulsing with cautious optimism. "All member species have ratified the charter of the Galactic Cooperative." Thomas touched the data crystal in his pocket, his mother's original evidence, recovered from the hegemon's vault. "Then let's begin the real work." The chamber's quantum field hummed to life, connecting representatives from thousands of worlds. Some attended in person, others through quantum projection, but all shared equal voice in this new forum. First Order, primary node crystallics announce, their crystalline form refracting light in complex patterns. Implementation of the Chen Protocol. No advanced species may restrict the technological or cultural development of emerging civilizations. Thomas watched the votes flow in through his neural interface. The measure passed unanimously. The galaxy had learned from humanity's example. Progress came not through domination, but through cooperation. Second Order, Kittel continued. Establishment of the Open Exchange Initiative. All member species will share scientific and cultural knowledge through the quantum network. In the gallery above, researchers from 100 worlds were already demonstrating the initiative's potential. Human neural interface technology merged with vectary biological engineering and Sin quantum computing, creating something entirely new. Innovation born from cooperation rather than competition. Third Order, Thomas added, stepping forward. Creation of the Remembrance Archive. The chamber's holographic display shifted, showing images from the revolution. Not just battles and strategies, but moments of connection. Humans teaching Vectari children their songs. Shin crystal minds learning to dream through human neural links. 1,000 species discovering they were stronger together than apart. The hegemony tried to make us forget, Thomas continued. They buried their crimes in bureaucracy and tradition. The archive will ensure we remember not just what we fought against, but what we fought for. Through his neural interface, Thomas sensed the approval of the assembled representatives. The archive would preserve not just history, but hope. Proof that change was possible, that tyranny could be overcome through unity. Final order of the day. First speaker Catal announced. Selection of the Cooperative's Leadership Council. Thomas raised his hand. If I may speak. The chamber fell silent. Everyone expected humanity, as the architects of liberation, to claim leadership. Thomas smiled, understanding their assumptions. Earth respectfully declines a position on the council, he declared. We helped break the old order, but the new one must belong to all of us. We propose instead a rotating council, where every species serves in turn. The quantum network erupted with surprised discussion. In the gallery, a young Vectari journalist captured the moment for posterity. Humanity, at the height of its influence, choosing to share power rather than seize it. The motion carries, Crystallix announced after the votes were counted. The Galactic Cooperative will be led by all, for all. As the session concluded, Thomas remained in the chamber, looking up at his mother's hologram. A Xin elder approached, their crystalline form resonating with respect. She would be proud, the elder said softly. Not just of the victory, but of what we built from it. Thomas nodded, touching the data crystal one last time before placing it in the archive's quantum vault. She taught us the most important lesson of all. True strength lies not in dominating others, but in helping them rise. Above them, Sarah Chen's hologram continued its eternal rotation, a reminder that sometimes the greatest revolutions begin not with a show of force, but with a simple commitment to truth.